We're here at the Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. Joining us now, the general manager of the Super Bowl 52 champion Philadelphia Eagles. He is Howie Roseman. It just occurred to me, you go by Howie. Does anyone in your life call you Howard?
You know, it's funny you say that. There's only one person in my whole life who ever called me Howard.
Your mom?
My grandmother.
Oh.
And she passed away a couple of years ago. It's nobody else does. You know, my first interview in the NFL was 1999 with the New York Jets, and I was interviewing for a personnel job. And Coach Parcells walked in, and Mike Tannenbaum at the time was the pro director, and he says, "Coach Parcells, I want you to meet Howie Roseman." And he said, "Howie." And he looked me up and down, and he said, "There's only one other Howie I know, and he's 6'4", 275. You may want to go with Howard from now on." And I went, "Oh, this NFL thing's going to work out great for me."
That's great.
That's good. The NFL thing has worked out great for you. Thank you very much. You got the Super Bowl ring, and you've had 2 playoff appearances since then. And you guys have shown so much grit and toughness late in the season to turn it around when your backs are against the wall. We've seen it 2 straight years now. Is it also frustrating, though, you get yourself in that position every year where you have to scratch and claw and fight to get a playoff spot?
Yeah, Mike, it's funny that you mentioned that because that's been a little bit of our emphasis this offseason. Like, can we not put our backs against the wall? Can we get in a position where we have a little wiggle room, where we can take a deep breath, where it's not every game from week 11 and 12 on is playoffs or bust, and because it puts so much pressure on the football team, and the stress level increases, and there's only so much you can take with that. And as you see, like the world champions, when we won the Super Bowl, we had a bye. It's very hard when you put that much stress on your football team to then go in the playoffs and come out at the end. So I think that's been a big offseason focus for us. How can we start better? You know, what can we do to improve the health of our football team? And we've kind of gone in that direction here with some of the off-field moves that we've made since the season has ended.
Yeah, I mean, where you guys have an interesting offseason here as far as, you know, pending free agents, things like that. You know, where does it all start? Where does it go here for Howie Roseman and the Eagles?
Well, I think it all starts with the quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, and we have a quarterback that we think is a tremendous player,
yeah,
tremendous leader, and so we got to make sure that he's protected first and foremost. And we've put so much investments into our offensive line that we're really excited about the offensive line we have. Now we have an important free agent there as well, and somebody who's been a great player for us, Hall of Fame player.
Jason Peters you're talking about.
For sure.
Right.
And then that he's got playmakers at his disposal.
Yeah.
Always looking to surround him with playmakers. You know, we did it last year, adding Miles, you know, JJ in the second round, who we're expecting, you know, him to take a big step up, big jump from year 1 to year 2. You know, the year before we had drafted Dallas Goedert, so we have him and Zach.
Right.
But we want to make sure that when we look back on Carson's career, we've done everything possible to maximize his success. And, of course, we have an offensive head coach, so that doesn't hurt either.
Right.
Has Carson Wentz silenced the doubters, or is it still to be determined for him to really reach that potential where he's regarded as a franchise guy without anybody saying, yeah, but?
Yeah, I think internally that's never been an issue for us. You know, he's a tremendous player, he's a tremendous leader, he's a tremendous person, and I think for us, we got to do whatever we can to make sure that we put him in a position to be successful. And in my role, that's important. It's to make sure that he's got everything he needs to be really successful. Now, I don't want to short side the fact that defense also matters to that, because if you have a great offense and you're getting leads and you can't protect those leads, you can't rush the passer or prevent big plays, that's going to hurt your football team as well. So I think we got a lot of areas that we're looking at to try to improve. And like you said, you know, the positive is over the last 3 years, you know, we're one of only 4 teams to make the playoffs all 3 years, and I think we're the only NFC team over the last 5 years to win a Super Bowl. So, you know, we've had a lot of good things, but we're hungry for more.
The one thing, okay, like me being Johnny Evaluator here, like the deep threat, that was missing, right? And, you know, Deshaun Jackson, of course, getting hurt really affected that last year, which I felt like affected your whole offense to a degree. You know, you talked about some of the young receivers you got. You know, Deshaun, he's getting up there in age. I mean, you think you're going to be a big player in free agency as far as that position's concerned?
Well, I think you got to look at it as the offseason in its total picture. So you got to look at what's good in free agency, what's good in the draft, how it matches your picks, and what's the strength of the draft, what's the strength of free agency. And also when you're talking about having a young quarterback, like you look at it, our tight end group is young. Our running back group, we drafted Miles last year. Even Jordan Howard, who we acquired in trades, 26 years old. Boston Scott, who's the NFC Offensive Player of the Week against the Giants. He's tremendously explosive. So I think ideally when you look at it, you'd like to balance kind of veterans and youth. But I think also when you talk about that and having guys who can take the top off, I mean, it goes without saying, speed helps. Speed helps at every level, whether you're talking about offensively or defensively.
You're in a division that has 3 new head coaches this year. That's got to be an advantage because all due respect, Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl. Ron Rivera's been in a Super Bowl. Joe Judge, who knows how it's going to go. But you've got 3 coaches breaking in new programs with new teams. That has to give the Eagles a leg up, doesn't it?
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember in 2002 we played the Bucs in the championship game. And John Gruden was in his first year coaching the Bucs, and I'm saying, who in their first year coaching a team goes and wins the Super Bowl? Right. So I think it's hard to make those proclamations. They came into Philly in the last game at Veterans Stadium and beat us. I think we got to focus on how we can improve our team, the things that we can do better. And the first goal is to win the NFC East, but we're not satisfied losing in the first round of the playoffs, winning the NFC East and losing in the first round. So we got to compare ourselves to the teams that are winning the Super Bowl. Our ex-head coach, Andy Reid, just won a world championship in Kansas City. They're going to be a threat going forward. So we're trying to measure ourselves against the best teams in the NFC, in the National Football League, because that's where we want to go.
How much time do you spend thinking about how differently the playoff game would have gone if Carson Wentz plays the whole thing?
I think it's more you feel bad for the kid and just the amount of preparation he puts in each week, the amount of leadership he showed when he took over our team. At one point we're 5-7, we lose to the Dolphins. Everyone's writing us off. Our top 3 receivers are out, and everyone just followed him. And so just getting the opportunity, home playoff game to play, you feel bad for him, but I've learned that it's hard to spend a lot of time thinking about the what ifs. It could just drive you crazy.
What if? No.
Let's do it anyway. It'll be great.
You're one of the best in the business at your job. You really are. And Mike and I both have great respect. He's a liar. I do not.
It's okay.
I have not said that to everybody. But I do feel like this is just... am I overstating that? I feel like this is one of the bigger off seasons I've seen the Eagles have. I know they're all big, but here, the list of free agents I got in front of me. Damn, you got a lot of them. You got a work cut out for you. Do you see it almost as you got to flip the team over here? Are we about to do that?
Well, I feel 2 parts of that. Right. I think the first part of that is every off season is important.
Yes, I know.
I'm not trying to downplay the significance of this off season. It's the most important because it's the next one.
Right.
But at the same time, we've been preparing for kind of a flipping of our team. We knew that when we kind of started back in 2016 and Coach Peterson came, that we were going to have a window.
Right.
And then the last couple of years, we were trying to extend that window. So we were trying to find undervalued veteran free agents because that's where we thought the margin was at that point in time, that veterans weren't getting what other guys were getting.
Right.
And so we only had 10 picks the last 2 years. And a lot of those picks were because we were trying to win a championship, not only in 2017, but in 18 and 19. And now as we build, we look at it as a new period of time where in 2020, 2021, we may have a lot of new players on our team, but we also have this core group of guys that are guys that are under contract, that are big parts of our team. We talk about the offensive line. We have really 4 guys, 4 starters who are under contract for the foreseeable future. Plus, we drafted a left tackle in the first round.
Right.
Carson's under contract. Miles is under contract. Both tight ends are under contract. Fletcher Cox, who, with all due respect to the rest of our defense, maybe our best defensive player, under contract for the long term.
Definitely,
I think that we look at it like we're not in a rebuilding mode. We're
I know you're not.
Retooling, and we're going to do whatever we can to try to build this team, but also to sustain success. We don't want to be in a period, a year or 2 from now, where we're tearing it all down.
Right.
You've got your quarterback for well into the future. Do you kind of sit back and look at all the quarterbacks are going to be free agents, all the teams are going to be looking and say, thank God we don't have to jump into that game of musical chairs? Or do you kind of wish at some level that you had a chance to? Like, that'd be kind of fun to have a ticket to this party.
No, thank you. Because everything, and it goes into the draft, like as sure as you can be, until someone moves into that city, is surrounded by the coaching staff, is accustomed to the surroundings that go with it, it's a risk. And so when you're around someone, and that's why we do as much as we can when we hire new coaches, when we bring new people in, to try to find people who've been around them, so we take some of the guesswork out of it, because it's a little bit like dating. Until you really live with someone, you only see someone on their best behavior, and you don't really know how they act. And we know our quarterback, and it's funny because somebody asked me at my press conference, I said, what do you think it would take to go from 7 to 1? And I said, I don't know. Well, guess. And I said, well, who's the player? What's the evaluation of the player?
Right.
And what are the other options out there?
Yeah, we love answers without knowing
context,
the details or context.
Give me all the information, and maybe I can help out a little bit.
Right. Okay. What do you do with a guy like Malcolm Jenkins? Eagles coach. That was a timely pass by there, right there.
You see that?
We tried to get
the quarterback running to the linebacker. Yeah. You see that? That was a little revenge.
You were late for this.
Right.
We tried to get Coach Peterson to sit in the middle. He declined to do it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, he knew it was my seat. He knew. He was like, "That's Chris's seat. I can't do that."
I said, "Heck no, man. Quarterbacks don't do that. Backup quarterbacks don't do that to the backup quarterbacks."
Right.
It's like this fraternity they all have. I didn't realize it until he came on our staff and hired Frank, and they got this like little fraternity. You can't get in there.
Yeah, you can't get in there.
What was the question?
I wanted to ask you about Malcolm Jenkins, though.
Yeah.
No, I'm just amazed, and just your thought process because of what you do in your job. I mean, here's a guy that's been a staple of your defense, obviously a great leader, but for lack of a better phrase, kind of wants to hold you guys hostage this year for more money or what he feels is fair market price.
Yeah, and we understand. I mean, Malcolm's a great player and a great person, and at the end of the day, he wants to do what's best for him, and we have to do what's best for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I think one of the things that I appreciate about our players is that we're able to have honest conversations with them. That doesn't mean we always agree, and I'm not talking about just Malcolm, with any of them.
Right.
And sit down and try to find solutions that work for everyone, and that doesn't always work. And at the end of the day, we have a job to do and responsibility to our coaches, to our players, to our owner, to our fans to do what we think is right for the Philadelphia Eagles.
So, Scouting Combine, they're making changes.
Yeah.
Workouts at night. What do you think about workouts?
Here we go. This is the Florio headline. Let me see if I can get a headline and get Howie fined by some.
Says he doesn't like night
Here we go.
We already got the headline. Bill Parcells saying that you should go by something else. That's our headline.
That's gonna be great.
But no, we're asking everybody, or at least when we think of it.
Right.
The workouts are at night now. What do you think about that?
This is my 20th Scouting Combine, and what I'm excited about is to see the change. Sometimes new is good. It's fun to see that we're flipping our schedule because it's like Pavlov. We're class conditioned when we come to Indy. This is our schedule. This is what we do. This is how everything's going. And the newness, the freshness of it, it's exciting to kind of see how it goes and to see what kind of good food we can kind of sneak into the dome for dinner at night.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. I like that.
Thanks.
Well, hey, the restaurants Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night are not going to be pleased.
No, you're right. It's
During
messing their
prime
business.
hours where they would be full,
right.
You guys are going to be at the dome.
Well, maybe the takeout business.
That's what I was going to say. He's going to be sitting there eating a steak on the third row of the stadium. All your years being in the business, is another one we've kind of asked, a few guys here, like most memorable workout you've seen from a rookie prospect. Anybody that jumps out. I mean, I'm sure Fletcher Cox was amazing. It doesn't have to be an Eagle.
Freak show.
But that Jadeveon Clowney type workout where you're just like, whoa, I've never.
When I think about it, I think about some of the individual. When we go and we get on a plane and we go travel and visit with these guys, and when you mention the best workout, I go to Carson. I remember that we had done a quarterback tour. Maybe one of the 5 best moments in my career. We all get on a plane and we go and we go to California and work out Jared and Kevin Hogan, and then we go to North Dakota and see Carson. And as he was just warming up, it was like a gazelle, and just like he's just kind of floating through it. And I remember he's just kind of casually through the workout, and he's just like effortlessly talking about 50 yards. I remember seeing Coach Peterson and just going, whoa,
Yeah.
like it was just like no effort. And
Right.
so I think right there we kind of said,
This is our guy.
this guy can play in Philly. You
Right.
know? He's going to be able to throw it in every kind of condition. And so when I think about great workouts, I think of being up close with the guy, because you're still, you know, you're not on the field with these guys.
Yeah.
You're not at eye level.
Right.
And sometimes you can feel a guy. You can feel a guy's explosiveness when you're down on the field.
Yes, you can. It does make it different. I like just being here just to see some of the guys walk by me.
Right.
Just to have a good feel for, okay, I've seen him on film, and oh, he's this big of a person here in person. I don't get enough
It
of
changes.
that
It changes.
in-person look test.
There's no doubt. It
Right.
changes.
He's always checking them out, and especially
The butts and legs. Yep. That's why I like Fletcher Cox. Whole lot of butt and leg in that uniform. I know that.
We're going in a bad direction, guys. Bad direction.
So,
can you do Sims like butt and legs?
I got another one for you, and this won't create a headline. This is just curiosity that we've been asking several guys about. What if the draft came before free agency? Would you like that?
I'll tell you what, I was a young GM, and we had this in 2011,
Yeah.
and
Son, that'd be awesome.
it was not a great experience for the Philadelphia Eagles or me personally. You know, I think the way it is now is a great way. And
That was the dream team. Vince
It
Young
was.
said so. The dream team.
Please, I'm a freaking flashbacks
Sorry.
right now.
Sorry. I'll say sorry for my Texas alum, my friend Vince Young. Sorry.
Flashbacks.
Yeah.
But, you know, some guys want it. Some guys have said they want it. Kyle Shanahan wants it. I think Sean Payton has said that they would like that you can go out and address your needs in the draft.
Tell me the
and whatever's
rules and
left
we'll
over.
play by 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you will. All right, last thing, just because he's the man of the moment, like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I know you weren't like evaluating and thinking about but just through the process, because I know you're a guy that probably studies the top quarterbacks every year, no matter what.
I'll tell you what, though, it's interesting because we had just traded up for Carson the year before.
Right.
And so I can honestly tell you, I didn't watch any of those top three quarterbacks until
That year.
after the draft.
Right.
Until
Right.
after, because I didn't want to waste the time spending 2 hours, 3 hours on each guy,
Right.
knowing that we didn't
You're
have
not doing
that amount of time.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just gives me another opportunity to congratulate Coach Reed, you know, and a guy just who I came into the league with and is just a tremendous person, a tremendous head coach. And if it's not going to be us, you know, it was the first Super Bowl I ever watched that we weren't playing in that I actually was rooting, you know, and that's no disrespect to Coach Shanahan and John and the San Francisco 49ers organization, but that's our guy, Coach Reed, and so he deserves it.
Yeah, good for him.
Earned it.
All right, well, hey, you deserved it, and you got it 2 years ago, and maybe you'll get it. Well, I picked you to go to the Super Bowl this past
So did
year.
I.
Let me
Yeah,
down.
Thanks for letting me down.
Don't do that this year.
Okay,
maybe we
won't.
get a better chance.
We
That'd be
won't.
great. Thanks,
All right.
thanks guys for having me.
Roseman,
Appreciate
Eagles
it.
GM. Howard Roseman, Eagles GM. Thanks, Howard.
See you guys.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.